Hello, I'm Shankar Banda.
And I'm Ron Batu, and welcome to our 11th episode of Weekly Dose of High School, where we'll be guiding you through the life of a high school student while speaking to knowledgeable people in the industry.
Today we are back again with Hrishikesh Joshi, an incoming sophomore at San José State University, where he'll be majoring in computer science. If you haven't heard our previous episode, make sure to check out that one first. But in today's episode, we'll be listening to Rishi talk about his plans for the future and how San José State University can help him out with that.
Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So, Rishi, how is campus life at your college? Is the campus big enough to play sports like soccer or football? And how often do people enjoy themselves? Like, how often do people party?
The campus isn't that big. There is a lawn where people play like volleyball and frisbee occasionally, and then there's a south campus where all the athletic facilities are. As for parties, I don't know. I haven't been to any so far.
So, are there any rallies at your school, like rallies based around like pride or like the
Uh,
LGBTQ community or something like that? Because
yeah,
I've heard it's getting pretty popular around campuses.
um, there are events like pretty regularly. Like there was an Earth Day event where the whole lawn area on campus there was like doing stuff related to Earth Day, like selling stuff, and there were people teaching you uh Earth related things you can do to reduce your carbon footprint.
Oh, that's really cool. Thank you.
Okay, Rishi, so how do you think the San Jose State University compares to the nearby Santa Clara University? Like I heard the Santa Clara University CS program is also very good. So like how do you think those two compare?
San Jose State, the area is not as nice, but the tuition is significantly less. The San Jose tuition is like $8,000 per year, and then Santa Clara, it's like 40,000 per year, I think.
And that will like the reason why I'm guessing would that be is San Jose is a public university,
Yeah,
whereas right.
and Santa Clara has a smaller student population, I believe. And Santa Clara is a religious school, while San Jose State is not.
Mm-hmm. And so like you just mentioned it's a religious school. So like yeah, like I know it's a Jesuit school. So like do you have to take any like religion classes in university?
In Santa Clara, you do. It's like a required class.
Got it. And like I know you mentioned earlier in the podcast that you're not attending or doing any like research internships right now at the moment. But like I know like a lot of college freshmen are doing like internships even if it's not like high level at like good top companies and because they just want to get that valuable work experience so they can help them out later on. So like do you think this is true or no?
I don't know. I It could help. It could not. Time will tell.
Okay. And also during high school, like what activities were you a part of? Like what clubs and societies?
I was part of the track team and cross country team. I also did a math club and ping pong club, and I also volunteered for this the high school CSF club.
So
Hmm.
a follow-up question to this. Did you like hold any positions at these clubs? Because I've heard that if you like have positions like president, vice president, or secretary, you look really good in your college apps.
Uh, I was I think treasurer for the math club. Yeah, but
Do you think this like significantly helped you in your application?
no. But if you're, you- this is kind of embarrassing, but like for math club, we just gave everyone titles just for college
Oh.
admissions. So one person was like team mascot. Yeah.
So do you think like if you held a position at a club somewhat like based around computer science, you think that would help you more?
Yeah, it would
Okay.
definitely help.
Thank you.
And Rishi, like I know you mentioned Purdue earlier on. So did you apply to Purdue?
Yeah, I applied to Purdue.
Okay, and then was that to their CS or engineering program?
I applied for electrical engineering and computer science, but I got in for electrical.
Uh-huh. And is there a reason why you chose San Jose State over Purdue? Because like Purdue is like a top ranked school. Like I'm pretty sure it's a top 50.
Uh, it's f really far away. The campus, it has a pretty bad weather for its reputation for weather is pretty bad. And then I didn't get into CS. I got into electrical.
Hmm. Do you think the school you attend for your undergrad, it's for CS, matters that much? Like, what if you get into like a safety school for most people, like Arizona State University, or you get into like MIT? Do you think the degree value holds in the same consideration? The other day, like I came across like a forum where saying the ASU alumni got the same job as like a Stanford alumni.
For a competitive field like computer science, you could get the same job. Like an ASU grad could certainly get the same job as a Stanford grad. Maybe for the initial stages of like your
Right.
for getting internships, the Stanford grad will, I mean, Stanford student will get priority over the ASU, but
Mm.
in the long run, it depends more on like uh what you did in college, like outside of class, and then when you get your first job, what you did with your job. The degree only counts for a for a certain number of years.
Hmm. And like I know Varan plans on going down the med track. So do you think the same thing holds true for med, or do you think the value or the name of the school holds more importance for med students?
I don't know. It probably does, but for med school, I'm pretty sure they also look at grades. And if you go to Ivy school, it's probably harder to get good grades than a safety school.
Hmm.
So Rishi, you probably have some friends who've gone down the med route. So like we've probably spoken to them this topic before. So do you know when they've taken the MCAT exam? Like have they taken it after sophomore year or after freshman year? Because I'll be taking the MCAT exam soon.
Wait, which year in high school are you or college?
I'm going to go into 12th grade in high school.
Um, I don't know. Uh, I don't have any friends who are currently in the med track. One of my family friends, I think she did it after her junior year, but I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
really sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Rishi. So like we talked about, or we mentioned the Rishi Kumar for Congress internship a lot. Is there a specific reason why you signed up for the Rishi Kumar Congress internship? Like even as like a college student, so like obviously it's not going to help you in your college application. So were you interested in like politics, or did you just want to get some like community service hours?
Um, Multiple reasons. I was interested in politics. I still am. I wanted like my summer was free, so I didn't really have much to do. So I thought the Rishi Kumar Fellowship would be a good way to spend time. And then I wanted to gain the experience of like actually knocking door to door,
Hmm.
because it builds your communication skills.
Right. So do you like plan on continuing this during the fall?
Yeah, that's my plan. Unless the schoolwork gets too much, then I'll probably drop.
Mhm. Okay, and before we end today's episode, I'm gonna ask, how do you think your overall competitiveness, like how competitive Bay Area is? So like, do you think going to like a school right in the heart of Silicon Valley will help you out after graduation?
Um, yeah, it probably will help because the companies won't will already have heard of San Jose State. I mean, if you go to a school like Stony Brook, which
Hmm.
is in New York,
New
most
York.
people in the Bay Area have never heard of it. So obviously, uh, the name brand of San Jose State will help.
Got it. And okay, so my final question for you is, Do you plan on like attending graduate school after you graduate? So like maybe doing your master's or PhD level, or do you just want to get a job after you graduate from San Jose State?
My plan is to go to graduate school.
And would that still be at San Jose State, or do you plan on like going to a different school?
If I get into a better school for grad school, I'll go to that school. If I get into San Jose State, I'll go to San Jose State.
And I know you mentioned that you chose San Jose State over Purdue because of multiple reasons, like the weather, the location, the tuition. So, like, what factors or things did you take into consideration when deciding schools?
Um, I I went to this one counselor and he asked me to like uh send him my grades and activities and stuff and then my interests and then he created a list for me or like we created a list together
hmm
based on his advice.
hmm And did you have like anyone review your essays, or do you just review them yourself?
Uh yeah, the advisor he reviewed my essays, my parents reviewed my essays, and then other people like friends and family also reviewed the essays.
hmm I heard like you shouldn't get your essay reviewed by multiple people, otherwise you get too many mixed opinions and that will confuse you more. Do you think this is true? And if it's true, what do you think is the maximum number of people you should send your essay to get reviewed by?
Um I think it could sometimes it could be true that if you get too many different opinions you'll end up with a you'll end up feeling like you don't know what to do. Um for me that wasn't the case. Like uh each person was able to give advice which I felt I could implement. Um but I guess um for other people there might be a limit of like two or three.
Mhm. And I know I mentioned that this is my final question, but I actually have one more question. You may have heard of this news story like a couple of years ago that the UCs were interested in taking more out-of-state students and more international students rather than California students because obviously if they take more out-of-state students, international students, they can charge them more for tuition, which will generate them more revenue. And so do you think this is true that they accept more out-of-state and international students?
Um They probably do give priority to the out-of-state and international students because at the end of the day, colleges have to make money. Um, but conversely, I think a lot of people from out of state and international don't apply to the UCs because it's more expensive.
If that was the case, right, then no one would apply to the Ivy League schools. But like
Yeah.
obvious, but a lot of people like UC Berkeley, UCLA, they're UC San Diego, they got like hundreds of thousands of applications, like more than 100K applications. So, and out of those, like a majority were actually out of state, believe it or not. And after all, as California residents, we are paying taxes for the UCs. So like, do you think this will change in the future, or do you think this will stay the same? Like they will keep accepting more out of state students?
In my opinion, this will stay the same. They'll continue to accept more out-of-state applicants simply because out-of-state applicants will give them more money.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, Rishi, my final question for you is: have you ever thought of wanting to pursue down a med path? Because I know a lot of people in their high school years have debated whether if they wanted to go down a med path, there probably a CS path, there's some other path. So have you ever thought of trying to pursue a med path?
Uh, no, in high school, I mean, after freshman year, no, I never considered it because the bio teacher at Westmont, my high school, was not very good, and she made me lose interest in biology.
So do you think if you had a really good teacher, you would probably go down or pursue the med path?
Yeah, there's a chance I would have.
Do you have like a specific field in biology you would like to go in?
Um, Specific field in biology. Um, I think
Like
most
like
colleges
in
only have.
yeah. Sorry.
What were you gonna say?
or like perhaps like immunology, neuroscience, human of nutrition, like
Oh,
any of those, for examples. So that's what I mean
um,
by field in biology.
um, no, I don't, not probably just like a general physician.
All right.
Okay, and so like a quick follow-up to that. For CS, turning away from biology, do you think what are your specialized interest in CS? Is it like data science, or is it AI or ML or computer engineering? What is it actually?
Uh, I'm thinking of data science.
Data science. And do you think like applying as a data science major for top universities gives you a slightly greater chance of admission?
Yeah. Uh, more people have heard of CS, so more people apply to it. And data
Mhm.
science is still a new field, so not as many people apply to it.
Okay. Do you think you need the extracurriculars for data science, like research or like data analyst, being a data analyst, prior data to be more qualified? Say like some dude who wants to actually go to computer science simply applies as data science just to get in. So do you think you need like prior experience for data
Uh,
science?
you don't need prior experience, but prior experience does help. I have a friend who got into UC Berkeley for data science, and he never did any of that like extracurricular data science.
Got it. Thank you.
Well, that's it for today for episode 11 of Weekly Dose of High School. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to Rishi speak about his experience and passion for computer science and what his plans for the future are.
Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, or even YouTube. We're on all those platforms and we upload weekly episodes. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. Until then, take it easy, guys.